34 hours over the course of 17 days. That's how long it took me to read the first Harry Potter book in Japanese. So why did I read it? Well, I was looking for something to read and it just happened to be in the list of books. So I thought I'd give it a go. Right from the start of my Japanese, I'd seen people online talking about how that was the pinnacle. Once you read that, you're fluent. If you want to read it, you need N2 or N1. I'd read people saying they've been studying for 10 years and still couldn't read it. So I thought I'd just challenge myself and see how I got on. So I said 34 hours. That's really just using the Kindle's average read speed and going back to the start of the book. Obviously that's based on my average read speed at the end and not at the beginning. I think it's probably fairly accurate. I was spending about 2 hours to 3 hours a day reading. I said 17 days, it was really 16 because on one of the days I had an exam so I couldn't actually read. So how did I actually get on reading the book? Well, the first page was ridiculously hard. When I saw that I thought, all these people that were saying you have to be fluent, they were probably right. I've also read people saying that the first page is always the hardest in the book. It's probably something to do with trying to get used to the writer's style. Luckily, once I got past the first page, it was pretty much all downhill from there. It was fairly easygoing. I had no trouble following the plot at all. My only real issue that I faced was just the amount of vocab that I didn't know. Despite knowing around 6,000 bits of vocab according to Anki, there was still hundreds upon hundreds that I didn't know. Luckily, having gone through remembering the kanji, when I saw a new vocab, sometimes I could guess the meaning not only from the context but from the kanji itself. So some of the statistics: I made 286 cards throughout the book. For every one card I probably looked up 5 words, and for every 5 words I looked up I probably skipped 1 or 2. Around 1,500 lookups throughout the whole book. Probably maybe 2,000 unknown words, which meant over 460 pages there was roughly around 3 words per page I didn't know. So how good you have to be to read it? Is it hard? Well, it is quite difficult. It's not your standard beginner Japanese book. That being said, do you have to wait 10 years or 5 years or have N1? No, definitely not. I've been learning Japanese now for a little over a year using the mass immersion approach. So while I wasn't a complete beginner, I was very basic still. You can see on the right is the kind of stuff we were reading. It's all desnt, it's got furigana, and it's very short. I would guess that there is as much text in these 6 pages as there are in the first 2 pages of Harry Potter, which you can see on the left. It's full text and there's no furigana. So what are the benefits of reading it? Well, it's going to improve your reading speed. You're going to learn a hell of a lot of vocabulary, and it will solidify grammar points. For example, a few times throughout the book there would be a grammar point that would come up where I had perhaps a theoretical knowledge of it, but I didn't really understand it, whereas after 50 times of seeing it in the same chapter, it hammers it in and you don't even have to think about it anymore. So the issues I had with the book itself, well, there was mistakes, which was really weird. I don't understand how that happens. It definitely felt different to the other Japanese books that I've read. Very obvious that it wasn't an original Japanese text. So should you read it? Well, I think you've got to make up your own mind on that one. If you are a big Harry Potter fan, it's probably a good book to read because it's going to keep you motivated to continue reading. However, if you're doing it because you think it's some kind of test of your ability or that it's going to prove you're fluent, I definitely don't think that's the case. My personal feelings on it was, well, I really enjoyed reading it. It did keep me motivated to read like 2-3 hours a day every day. Am I going to read the rest of the series? I don't know. I'm definitely going to start reading the second book and see how I get on. So for the next book, I'm thinking I may try and keep a bit more of a close record of what I'm actually looking up and how often I look things up, how my reading speed improves throughout the book, so I'll like time myself on certain pages as I go. However, that may change. if I find it too much of a hassle stopping me from actually reading, I may just stop it. So if you're thinking about reading it, I think you should just try it, see how you get on. I hope I've not put anyone off. I hope this video has been helpful, and I will see you in the future.